Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. I'm hoping you guys are all having a fantastic day. So today's upload we'll be talking about a unique snowstorm, and I call this unique because a system like this, or in the past, they have either underproduced or overproduced, and this system has very little cold air to work with and a lot of moisture, so it's really interesting to see what it does. Not a full, it's not a powerful snowstorm. It's not a full large-scale snowstorm. At least for the U.S., there will be, I think there will be some amounts getting towards that 7-8 inch range, especially across Michigan, Indiana, maybe Ohio. And then into Southeastern Canada, it gets a bit more significant. So we'll be talking about that today in today's video. So before we get in, if you guys enjoy this channel or you enjoy this video and you want to check out the other videos, feel free to do so. See if it's worthy of a subscription. And obviously, if you want to like the video and support this channel, that is awesome as well. So especially if you're a returning viewer, please consider liking the video. That'd be amazing. Before we get in, one more thing. I want to ask whether or not you guys would like for me to kind of turn on the webcam, not permanently, but just for like the introduction, for like the first minute of the video, and then once we kind of get into the weather stuff, I cut it out. I don't know, because I feel like that would give a more personal feel for you, but then I don't want to just shove my face in there without asking you guys. And ultimately, it's my decision, right? But I mean, ultimately, this is kind of directed by you guys, so obviously, I think it's fair to ask you. Okay, so just let me know in the comments. Let's get into this video. I'll be talking about this snowstorm, the one that's going to be occurring within the next 24 to 36 hours for the most part in today's video, though I will briefly touch on the next system that could be occurring actually this Monday and Tuesday, really shortly after this system. So let's start talking. This is what it looks like as of now, according to the HER model. Let's see if I could zoom out. I am pretty zoomed in, and there has been an update to Tropical Tidbits, and for some reason I didn't, I noticed it, right, but I just didn't tell you guys that, look, here we have the hours, and this is actually adjusted to the Central Standard Time, the time we use. This is, you could see 22 or 00Z, that would indicate midnight, but it's actually 6. This is Standard Time, so for East Coast it would be 7, Mountain 5, Pacific 4. And with that calculation, let's just keep going. So notice, this is what it looks like as of right now. We have a good portion of Missouri under some pretty heavy rainfall. This rain is actually occurring at not a flooding rate, not torrential rain, but it is consistent. It's definitely moderate rain. Now, there are obviously pockets that are a bit heavier, and there's many pockets that are a bit lighter. And if we were to look at the radar, I use the WGN radar. A great radar, in my opinion. It always loads really quickly and just always seems to do a wonderful job. Well, they just glitched as I was complimenting it. Okay, let's take a look at this. So notice, this is what it looks like as of right now, and you may be kind of taken off guard by all of this light stuff here. You're like, oh wow, this is overproducing. A lot of this is falling as virga, so this isn't really reaching the surface. It's so dry, the air, that it's kind of falling and not really reaching the ground, but the radar still picks up on it. Now, it's tough to tell where exactly that virga ends, but again, if I were to look at the National Weather Service, look at this. Almost no watches, no warnings. It's interesting. You may be looking at this and being like, okay, where is that unique snowstorm? Again, this is unique because some of these amounts could be pretty heavy, but they're not confident in that to issue a winter storm watch or warning. I am a bit surprised why they haven't issued a winter weather advisory. To be honest with you, I would think they would have done that, but I mean, it is going to occur in the early morning hours of Sunday, so maybe that's their justification. And again, the confidence is low, which makes this kind of exciting because there could be a lot of things that go wrong or right. So let's go to Detroit, or Detroit office of the National Weather Service. Notice that this is the forecast snowfall amounts. They are definitely on the lighter side with this, the National Weather Service, 2 to 3, 1 to 2 inches. I do think that there will be, you could see localized 1 to 2 inches. I think that it'll be higher because these models are definitely indicating a good transition, and some of the latest modeling is showing maybe up to 6-7 inches. I don't think that will be widespread. If you live across southeastern Michigan and northern Indiana, 1 to 2 seems the biggest bet, but don't get caught off guard, especially if you get some higher amounts, because that's what the models have been trending towards. Now again, as I mentioned, this is a bit weird, this whole setup. It's unique for a reason. So notice, this is 6 p.m. as I'm recording this. 7, 8, 9, all rain, no worries. It's going to be light to moderate rain. Maybe maybe the biggest concern, some ponding on roadways, though again, this isn't a torrential rainfall, this isn't a flooding rain. It's a relatively quick moving system, and it's not as expansive, though obviously you could see there are a few pockets. Now you can see this is at around 11 p.m., so many people still out, maybe on Saturday evening, right, going into Sunday. We do start seeing some hints of mixing in around central Illinois. That's possible. There could be a little bit of mixing, though it really kind of blossoms over northern Indiana. And that's the weird thing, that look, to the north it's rain, and really across these locations it's cool. And that's because of the wet bulb temperatures. It's going to be pretty much rain cooled by the rain, and especially during the heaviest outbursts. Notice, coincidentally, we have a heavier band of precip right there. I don't know if you can see that coloring. Here we have lighter. Over here is a little bit of that darker color. Notice, in that darker color, that's exactly what transitions over to snow. So, obviously, that is a component. And again, if you were to look at the 2-meter temperature shaded, they're all above freezing. Obviously, they are pretty close, 34, 35. And snow can occur above 32 degrees. It has occurred, I think, in warmest ever. It was either 42 or 45. I'm not quite sure. But it's in the 40s, and which catches many people off guard. And it should. I mean, that's what it's usually advertised as, right? 32 degrees equals snow. It's not always the case, which kind of makes things a bit more complicated than it would seem. But notice, I do want to quickly point out, there will be a area of light wintry precip, mainly transitioning over to snow across Minnesota. 2 to 3 inches also possible. So notice, this is the HER model. Usually a really good model as it's accurate. It's high show range, but this is the thing. Look at it. It converts this to mainly snow. This is at around 6 o'clock in the morning, so the daytime maybe has started to broke across Ohio and Pennsylvania. Not really Indiana, Illinois yet. And then notice as it moves into Detroit, the rest of Indiana, Ohio, it remains as snow. 11 a.m. This is what it looks like. Still a pretty big snow event occurring across Michigan, especially Detroit, and into portions of southeastern Canada. Now let's take a look at the total snowfall. Again, this is just one model, so don't take this to heart. But notice maybe even some 3-inch plus amounts across northern Minnesota with that little system piece of energy. That's possible. Notice right here, getting into that 6-7 inch range. Is that possible? I would definitely say a few locations would see that. Will it be widespread? No, I don't think so. Unless it overperforms significantly, but that margin would have to be big. Now, this isn't through the whole system. This only goes out to 18 hours. It stops at 11, so that's all I have to show. We could go back to the 18Z, which goes out to 36 hours, but it's an old model run, as you can see, so the data may not be as refreshed. But still, generally the same. It was a bit further to the south. It has shifted a tad bit towards the north. Again, that may, that's kind of what the trend has been a bit. Notice, not much across Detroit, a bit across Indiana, northeastern Ohio, or northwestern Ohio, and then across Canada, it really blows up, and I think that will be the case. If I were to take a look at the regions and look at portions of the Northeast, again, this doesn't take you through the whole entire system, but Toronto, possibly seeing 4 or 5 inches, Montreal, Ottawa, Quebec. Again, this isn't throughout this whole system yet. If I were to show you the radar rain / frozen, it's still pretty well underway. But again, as it pushes further towards, this storm track will be something along the lines of, well, it's not 100%, but something like this. And, kind of to the south and east, it will be all rain. So where it tracks, you can see, is kind of where that rain-snow line sets up. So really heavy snow, I would say the heaviest snow is for probably cities like Toronto and most likely Ottawa, Montreal. While cities like Quebec may be getting a bit more of that transition to some rain, but it obviously does start off with a pretty good area of snow, and some of this will be getting pretty darn heavy. You can see some of these snowfall rates are pretty intense, as obviously could start off even across portions of New York as some snow, maybe even you can see western New York right there, but it all transitions to rain as this thing develops into a pretty strong band of precipitation, kind of like a shooting plume of moisture, right? And if we were to take a look at the NAM 12KM, generally a similar setup, a bit more clunky, disorganized, as that's what longer range models do. But it takes us through this whole event. You could see cities like Quebec, even maybe Ottawa, Montreal getting on some of that rain. it does transition a lot of that to rain. In terms of snowfall, still though, quite a bit could fall, and the NAM, you can see, paints a pretty decent amount. Toronto has over half a foot, and into good portions, into, you know, large portions of southeastern Canada, seeing maybe even a foot. Northern New York, Western New York, similar thing, maybe even to Pennsylvania, northern Maine. So it's unique because a small track could mean a big difference. I mean, look at that cutoff right there. We go from one side of the border at 7-8 inches to the other side, maybe 2-3 inches. So that's a pretty big difference, not a big mileage change, and we'll just really just have to see how this all unfolds. And at this point, it's a bit of a confusing event. If you were to take a look at the NAM 3km, generally the same. You can see Quebec's right on that line of the heavy snow and kind of that much lighter snow. And we'll just have to see how this all folds out. I will be closely monitoring this through the night. Unfortunately, I won't be making videos throughout the night, just watching the radar kind of for my own sake of entertainment. I love doing that. Bit weird, but I'm sure others like that as well, doing that. And I did mention I was going to go over the second storm a bit. And you can see that the NAM 3km does start showing it to form at around that late Monday, early Tuesday time frame, and that is going to be, you know, relatively quick after that first storm. And I want to show you the GFS model in terms of that first storm. You can see the transition between rain and snow is clunky. That's what long range models do. They don't have a good kind of grasp on what's going to change where. That's really up to the short range models, and even the short range oftentimes fail at doing so. Notice though, we do see that snow, pretty heavy snow, rain pushing into southeastern Canada, and once it's in southeastern Canada, it can develop into a pretty large system. And then look, well, that one's raging right there. We have another system across the Midwest, which there is quite a bit of differencing still. A lot of rain for a good portion of the Midwest, and then some snow as well. Mainly also transitioning to rain, and I know that a lot of people would like to see more snow, but unfortunately this November has been so warm. That's really the case, and we'll have to see. Again, this GFS model has been jumping around all over the place. Even the European has been inconsistent. You can see it's showing a storm of some sort at around the November to December break, and then maybe some sort of system. Yeah, we'll just have to see. Honestly, it's a weird pattern that they're indicating, and really, I looked at some of my older videos at around this time 2 years ago, and it was showing a similar pattern, and then it flipped to a much colder pattern. And I'm not saying it will this time either, but you know, there's change, and it could go warmer or colder, or obviously stay the same, and that's what kind of makes forecasting fun. So this is the last look at the radar. This band seems to be a bit overperforming as well. We will just have to wait and see how this all unfolds, whether or not this is actually an event that will overproduce, underproduce, or really go as forecasted, which is obviously the best and most, probably the best thing to happen, as people have, you know, prepared for what's to expect. And that's basically it for today's video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Consider liking the video, consider subscribing to this channel, and I will be making more in-depth videos about that second storm probably tomorrow, with the European, the Canadian, the GFS. I mean, I could show you the Canadian right now with that, at least that first system. You can see it has some big storms in a longer range. So this is that first storm. Again, a bit of a clunky storm at the beginning, a bit less precip showing than what we have already right now, but again, this is what the Canadian shows. Notice quite a bit of snow with this one at the beginning, the Canadian. There's differences, obviously. And snow still impressive from that first storm. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next episode. Actually, sorry, let me just, for those that are still watching, haven't clicked off, I'm surprised. But I want to show you Southeastern Canada quickly, because I have viewers from there as well, and sometimes I feel bad I don't show that, but oftentimes it's like a 15-minute video, and I don't want to extend it too much. But what I want to show is that this thing kind of does blossom across these areas. If you're looking from the US and you're looking at 48, you're like 48 inches. It's centimeters, so that's about cut in half. Still, 20 inches is a significant amount. Usually that's over 20. Yeah, that's exactly the 2-foot mark on this chart, especially since the colors have stayed the same, just the numbers are adjusted. GFS really shows similar amounts, even higher. So big storm. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I'll catch you all guys in the next episode. See ya. Bye.